So listen, there's some mistakes or some information that when it shows up on your credit report, lenders will not even want to work with you. They will not want to lend money to you. They will not even be willing to take a risk on you. So you got to know about these mistakes. You got to know about these errors. You want to try to avoid it by any means necessary. So that's what I'm going to be talking about now. It's very important that you understand how long information stays on your credit report. Because this could play an impact on lenders not wanting to work with you at all. Because listen, there's some information. Let me bring that up again. Look at this thing very carefully. How long does information stay on your credit report? Right? Some information stays there for as long as 6 years. Some information stays there for as long as 7 years. Some information stays there for as long as 10 years, depending on which credit bureau that you're dealing with, whether it's Equifax or TransUnion. Now, there is some information that stays on your credit report. When lenders see it, they would not want to work with you, meaning that they would not want to lend to you, whether it's for a car, whether it's for a house, whether it's for for a mortgage or for a personal loan or credit card, because when they see that information on your credit report, they look at you as a high-risk borrower. So you are a high risk. You have a high chance of defaulting on a loan or on a future loan just based on the information. Now, on this map or on this list that you see here, there's one information that you do not, and I mean you do not want that information to show on your credit report at all. You got to do whatever you can by any means necessary so that information does not show on your credit report. So that's what I'm going to get into, and that's what I'm going to tell you so that you can avoid so this information doesn't stay on your credit report for a long time. Now, if you're watching us for the first time, you can always subscribe on our channel. We are at My Credit Funding on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, so you can get a lot of this information on a weekly basis, because we put out a lot of information when it comes to credit, business credit, personal credit, so we can help you, right? Because it's all about knowledge, awareness. You want to stay ahead of the game, because you don't want to put yourself in a situation or a position whereby when you're applying for a mortgage, you're applying for a car loan, and then the lender, they check your credit report and they see one of this information on your credit report, and you end up missing on that house or on that car just because you did not do your homework. Okay, so let's talk about it. So you see here, listen, late payment, right? If there's a late payment on your account, lenders, they'll be willing to work with you, right? It depends on how recently this late payment was, but there's some lenders that are willing to work with you even if there's a late payment on your account, right? There's some special programs that they can put aside for you, but they're willing to work with you, right? Collection account, lenders don't like to see collection account. You want to, try to avoid collection accounts, accounts being sent to collection and then reporting on your credit bureau, because when lenders see that, they see you as a high-risk borrower, but some lenders will still be willing to work with you, right? Bankruptcy, same thing, Now, with bankruptcy, right, as you can see here, it stays there for 6 years. So it stays on your credit report, right? It stays on your credit report for 6 years, up to 10 years, depending on when it's, when the term ends, right? Now, I'm talking about Equifax and TransUnion. These are the two credit bureaus in Canada. So you have to know these two credit bureaus very well in terms of how to work with them, how to reach out to them, how to access them. So that way, if you need to remove any sort of information that does not belong to you or any information that has passed the statute of limitation, then you can reach out to them. Now, remember, the video or the subject of this video is that there is on this list, there is an information that you do not want to stay on your credit report. You don't want this information to show up on your credit report at all. So I'm going to give you that information. I'm just going through the list so you can see exactly what's going on. Consumer proposal, same thing. It stays on your credit report for 3 years. What is a consumer proposal? Consumer proposal is basically it's a legal process that you go through with the creditor, and you get a trustee, an insolvency trustee. That's like a third party that gets involved, and then they negotiate a deal between you and the creditor, so they can they can minimize or consolidate all your debt into one payment, and you pay a monthly payment. But that's it's a legal formality. So you got to go through some legal formality. So it stays on your credit report for 3 years, right? And then judgment, 6 years. So a judgment is when you get sued, right? And you lose the case, and then it ends up staying on your credit report for 6 years. And then hard inquiry is every time you apply for credit. Right? Every time you apply for credit, it goes on your credit report. So when you apply for credit. So when you initiate a credit report or the credit application, then the lender will pull your credit. It's called a hard pull, right? It shows up on your credit report, and that information stays there for 3 years. Now, as I mentioned, bankruptcy, it's a no-no, but that's not what I'm talking about. You know, even with bankruptcy, a lot of creditor will still be willing to work with you. They will have some special programs for you. Now, you might pay high interest rate, or you might have to put in a security deposit, or you might have to put in some sort of collateral. But even with some lenders, they can work with you if you have a bankruptcy. Now, remember I said there is one information on your credit report. If lenders see that, they will not work with you. They will not even be willing to work. They will not even look, they will not even look at your credit report. If they see that information on your credit report, they will just turn away and then just throw your credit report on the garbage. They will just trash it, because at that point, once they see that your credit report is, your credit score, your credit report, your credit rating is pretty much trash. It is garbage when in the eyes of the lender if they see that, okay? So I'm not going to hold you too long, right? I'm going to let you know what this information is. So let me bring that up again. So very important that you pay attention to this. Late payment stays on your credit report for 6 years, depending on which credit bureau. Equifax, 6 years. TransUnion, it could be up to, it could be 7 years, right? Collection account, 6 years. Charge off, 6 years. Bankruptcy, 6 years. Consumer proposal, 3 years. Judgment, 3 years. Hard inquiry. This is very important. Listen, that's all it takes. It takes one late payment. If that late payment is 30-day past due, it will stay on your credit report for 6 years. So for the next 6 years of your life, that information is going to hunt you. So that's why you want to be very careful when you use your credit. You got to be very wisely. You got to be very careful in terms of how you use credit, because credit card is, you need credit, right? You need credit card to build credit, right? That's a no-brainer. You got to have credit cards to build credit. That's the only way. That's the most effective way to build credit. Every lender will let you know. Every lender will tell you that you need credit card. You got to use it so you can build credit, right? But you got to use credit card wisely, because you make the wrong move, the wrong decision, the wrong, you miss a few payments here and then. It ends up in collection. It ends up in the credit bureau. That information will stay there for a very long time. So going back to what I was saying, there's one piece of information. When lenders see it, they will not want to work with you, because it's telling the lenders that, this person cannot be trusted. They are a high-risk borrower. Their chances of defaulting is 100%. So you want to make sure you know what this information is. All right? So let me tell you what this information is on your credit report that you do not, I repeat that you do not want this information to show up in your credit report. What is that? It's a charge-off. You do not want a charge-off account showing on your credit report. Let me repeat that. You do not want a charge-off account showing on your credit report, right? It stays there for 6 years, but you do not, 6 years on Equifax, TransUnion, it could stay there for 7 years, but a charge-off account, you do not, I repeat, you do not want that to show on your credit report, because when lenders see that, they're like, you know what? Nah, we're going to skip this customer, or we're going to skip this client. We're going to go to the next client, because this person is high risk. Their chances of defaulting is 100%. Okay, so what is a charge-off? So what is a charge-off? This is what a charge-off is. When you have a credit card with your credit card company, if you miss 6 payments, so if you don't make 6, if you miss 6 payments in a row, or you just miss 6 payments, right, which comes up to 180 days. So if you miss 6 payments with your credit card company, 180 days, your credit card company is going to charge that off. So meaning that, right, they have written that off from their books as a bad debt. Now that account or that debt is still collectible, right? They will still come after you by other means. They can either sell it to a collection agency, or they can even take you to court, right? But after 180 days, so you've missed 6 payments, 180 days, right? You've missed 6 payments, the credit card company will just write that off from their books. They'll be like, okay, you know what, this is a bad debt, right? It's uncollectible, meaning, right, they got to find another way to come after you, where they're going to take you to court, they're going to send it to a collection agency, but on their books, they've written that off, right? But you still owe that money. Remember, you still owe that money. But after 6 months of missed payment, it becomes a charge off. So you want to avoid any account, especially credit card, because it happens a lot with credit card. If a lender, future lender, present lender, if they see that you have a charge off account on your credit report, your chances of getting a mortgage is zero. Your chances of getting a car loan is zero. Your chances of getting a business loan is zero. The chances of you getting a credit card in the future is zero for the next 6 years. So which means you gotta wait until 6 years until that charge-off account basically drops off your account, or basically it passes its statute of limitation, because after 6 years then that information comes off your credit report. So 180 days, right? 6 months. If you miss 6 months of credit card payment with your credit card company, your credit card company is going to charge that off. A charge off is something that no lender wants to see on anybody's credit report, because basically what it's telling future lenders that, this person is high risk. If they can miss 6 payments with this credit card company, what do you think how many payments do you think they're going to miss with us? So when a lender sees that your account has been charged off, they don't want to deal with you. They don't want to look at you. They're going to throw your credit report in the garbage. It's like, this thing is garbage. Let's go on to the next customer. So you want to avoid your credit card from going 6 payments behind, which is 180 days or 6 months. You want to avoid that by any means necessary, because when a credit card company, when a mortgage lender, when a car loan company sees that, they're like, this person is high risk. Now, if a lender is willing to work with you, even if you have a charge-off account, you best believe you're going to be paying high interest rate on whatever product that they're offering you. Your interest rate is going to be so high, probably won't even be worth it. They're going to ask you for collateral. They're going to ask you for security. They're going to ask you for a co-signer. They're going to ask you for so much condition that it will just not make any sense at all for you to even go for that product, because a charge-off is one of those information that lenders, it's like in the lending world, it's a no-no. It's like nope, let's move on to the next customer, because this customer is high risk. So remember, you do not want your any account. You do not want your credit card to be charged off. You do not want your credit card company to charge off your credit card bill. So avoid missing 6. Don't miss any payments, right? Period. You don't want to miss any payment. But as I mentioned earlier, right, if you miss a payment here, 1 or 2, there's some lenders that will still work with you. But if you miss 6 payments and that account gets charged off, because that's when an account gets charged off, once it hits 180 days, boom, the credit card company will just charge that off, and they will either sell it to a third-party collection agency, or they are going to find another way to come after you by either taking you to court or by seizing your some assets that you might have and stuff like that. They will figure out a way to come after you, just that they will just charge it off from their book. So that's when your account, your credit card, hits 180 days with no payments, or 6 months without you making any payments. So you, as I mentioned, avoid that by any means necessary. Do whatever you have to do so it doesn't get to that point, because once it reaches that point, it's going to be difficult navigating in this credit-driven system. It's going to be hard and difficult for you. The banks and lenders, they're not going to even look at you. They'll be like, sorry, we can't deal with you. You're too high risk. All right. So listen, that's pretty much it. As I mentioned, listen, subscribe to our channel, My Credit Funding. We're putting out content every week. We are at My Credit Funding on Instagram, My Credit Funding on Facebook, My Credit Funding on YouTube, so you can get a lot of this information. Because listen, you want to be position yourself, because it takes a while to build credit, right? A year, 2 years. So you want to get that information from the beginning in terms of what to avoid, best practice. So you want to be able to get this information, do your due diligence, put the information in motion, do the whatever it is that's necessary to position your credit, whether you have to improve it, whether you have to start fixing your credit, whether you have to start reviewing your credit report. But you want to put yourself in the best credit position, so that way you can build your credit in the long term, because that's how it takes about a year, 2 years for you to establish credit. By one mistake, that's all it takes for you to be in the in the in the red zone or in the black zone, whatever whatever area they call it. But that's how long it takes, right? So 6 years, that's how long it takes for information to stay on your credit report. 7 years with other with TransUnion. But that's pretty much it. So that is it for me. I will see you on the next video. I am out. Peace.